for the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Curious, just on your background from a basketball perspective and coaching, who are some of the biggest influences that you've had in your life in basketball and in coaching?
Yeah, I think of a lot of people that come to mind. Obviously, I went to college at Xavier and played for Sean Miller. Being in Western Pennsylvania, he was kind of a guy that I always looked up to and wanted to play for. His dad was somebody that I've known for a long time. He did camps around my area. So definitely Sean. Coach Dambrot at the University of Akron kind of revived my basketball career, transferring from Xavier to Akron. So I owe him a ton of credit. And then, just getting on board with Archie at Dayton and the assistants that I was able to work with there, coming to Indiana. And then this past year, I mean, my goodness, the staff that the university was able to put together with Coach Woodson and Thad Mata and Kenya Hunter, who I've known for 16 years, and Dane Fife and Yasir Roseman, and all the guys that I've been able to be with and around in my young coaching career has been phenomenal for my development. And I owe those guys a ton of credit for this position I'm in now.
Dustin.
Hey, Brian, congratulations. Dustin DePierac, Bloomington Herald Times. If I read your bio right, you guys just had a baby, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep.
What's this just whole thing been like? I mean, obviously, having a move within the program, being promoted to being a full-time assistant coach, again, after having gone through a year with a new coaching staff, a guy that you didn't really know before. What's this whole experience been like for you, I guess, emotionally, combining all those things together?
Yeah, it's been emotional for sure. I had our first baby daughter on March 9th. It was Wednesday. And that was the day before we played Michigan up in Indianapolis in the Big Ten tournament, which I missed. And coach was very gracious about that. And I was able to go back and forth the following games in the Big Ten tournament. And then the NCAA tournament hit. And then we figured out we were going to be in Dayton. We had to leave Monday. So unfortunately, I missed about 5 of her first 7 days of her life. Thank God for my great wife and my in-laws who came in, who covered for me. But it's been amazing. I mean, this is an absolute home run grand slam for myself and my young career. And I'm just extremely grateful to Coach Woodson and the rest of the staff who believes in me, and just beyond excited for the opportunity ahead.
Tyler.
Hey, Coach. Tyler Tashman with Inside the Hall. I hope you're doing well. How did Mike Woodson offer you the job? Was it in person, on the phone? What was that conversation like, and kind of what was going through your head during it?
Yeah, I don't want to get into too much of the details, but I mean, I can tell you it was March 24th. It was Thursday. And there were some other opportunities that were presenting themselves to me in the college basketball world. And, I wanted to be transparent with Coach and let him know the developments of what was going on. And, I let him know via, text on the phone, and he called shortly after. And I just remember I was holding my daughter in my arms and my wife was sitting to my right. And for whatever reason, I put the phone on speaker and listened to him. And, he offered me the job to bump me up. And like I told you guys before, it was really emotional, just, full circle 1 year ago, the situation with the previous staff, and then have an opportunity to stay on with Coach Woodson. And it's just been unbelievable. I believe in Coach Woodson at the highest level. He's an unbelievable coach, a really, really good man. And we had a blast this year. I think we accomplished a lot in his first year, and just extremely grateful and humbled to be a part of the staff here.
Mike Schumann.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Mike Schumann with the Daily Hoosier. I guess going back a year ago, I'm guessing there were times when you weren't real sure what the future held for you during the coaching change. I mean, how is that right? And how surreal is it to, over a year to be in the spot you're in now? And also, have you actually heard from Archie since you got the job?
Yeah, I mean, just rewind a little bit, but it's been incredible 12 months, right? 1 year ago, to the date that he offered to bump me up, I was trying to figure it out. Arch got let go, and I was kind of in limbo of what was going to happen, looking for other opportunities, trying to figure it out. Very uncertain time for myself and my wife at the time, and had some people go to bat for me here at IU, and I was fortunate to get the opportunity to work for Coach Woodson, and I feel like I was able to bring value to him in some areas that he needed, and they just let me run with my job, and felt like I was able to bring really good value to the staff this year. As far as Arch is concerned with Rhode Island, we exchanged just some texts, some congratulatory texts on his behalf, but not too much other than that.
Mike Pegram.
Hey, congratulations, Brian.
Thanks, Mike.
You get now the chance to really full-time recruit. Where do you think you already have built some good relationships? Obviously, maybe in your home state, but have you been able to build those relationships in Indiana and other places?
Yeah, I think my specialty is the Midwest. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I still have a ton of close friends and contacts, guys that are my age that are now running AAU programs on all the different circuits that I've kept in touch with and have great relationships with. And then I go over to Dayton and was a graduate assistant for 1 year and bumped full time there. Ran team camp for several years and plucked teams from within the state, out of the state, the surrounding states. So I feel like Ohio is another state that I have really strong ties in. And then moving a little bit further west at Indiana, where your reach is bigger. So I feel like the relationships that I've built in Indiana are very, very strong. And the surrounding states, Illinois, Kentucky, the surrounding states is kind of my, I guess you would call it the breadbasket.
Tom Brew.
Brian, Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Indiana. Congratulations. One of the things that I think a lot of people look at closely with assistant coaches is the value you bring in regards to individual teaching and such with players. Tell me what you think your strengths are in regards to being a teacher in regards to individual skills and what you're looking forward to, especially with this group of guys in regards to diving into the summer to helping them get better.
Yeah, I think the first and foremost is just the relationships that I've been able to build here with these guys for as long as these guys have been here at Indiana, I've been here. So obviously I haven't been able to be on the floor and teaching them like I was hoping to, given the NCAA rules. But, I was a guard. I'm not too far removed, about 10 years. So I can relate with a lot that they're going through, a lot that's going to be expected of them and asked of them. And, shooting the basketball, a lot of fundamentals, ball handling, things of that nature. Just kind of going back to when I was playing and knowing what skill sets are needed, especially now with Coach Woodson and how he wants to play. I think I'll be just fine in that area of teaching and being with those guys on the floor. And I'm so excited to get on the floor with those guys here in the short term.
Alec Lastly.
Hey, Brian, congrats again. Alec Lastly from Indiana Rivals. You've obviously been around the game for a long time now, whether it's playing, coming up through high school, AAU, obviously on a few different coaching staffs throughout your professional career. When you look back to when you first got started in the game of basketball, what's one piece of advice maybe a younger version of yourself kind of would give to yourself now in terms of taking this next step in your career?
Great question. I think the main thing is just getting out of your comfort zone and just working. I learned early on in my playing career at Xavier, we come out of high school and we're the best player, and come into a school, you think it's just going to be easy. And then you get to college and you get smacked in the mouth and you realize how hard it is. And you have to work extremely, extremely hard to play. And that's something that I've always stuck with me. It didn't really go my way at Xavier, which is fine. But it taught me a valuable lesson that you can't coast. You can never get comfortable, that you always have to work and continue to get better every day. And that's no different in the workplace. I mean, this is a highly competitive industry with a lot of great coaches that all are wanting the same thing, and that's to win. And I really don't think there's any substitute other than just coming to work every day, being consistent and working really, really hard.
Alex Bozich.
Hey, Brian, looking back at your numbers from when you played at Akron, you were a really good 3-point shooter, and something that's been an issue obviously over the last couple of years is 3-point shooting with Indiana basketball. I'm curious, in your opinion, is that something that is more on the development side within the program, or is that something that needs to be better addressed through recruiting moving forward in terms of prioritizing shooting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe a combination of both, right? Obviously you look in that in recruiting, you look at the numbers and you want to see if it can translate at the next level. But at the same time, I mean, these guys on our team, they're really good shooters. And I think a lot of it has to do between the ears. And, it's a lot of mental, especially at this place where the pressure is packed. The shots mean a lot. And these guys want to perform for these fans, man. They want to win. No one wants to win more than our players, and they put in a ton of time. So I'd say it's a combination of them being, in a good space in their head, mentally. And also it's our job as coaches is to recruit the best talent and recruit skills that will translate from high school to college.
Dustin.
Brian, I want to go back to something you said about just felt like you provided value with Coach Woods. And I guess, how much do you think you were able to sort of just, continue, obviously, like you said, not coast? I mean, as far as your just success with the staff, how much of it do you think was stuff that you were doing already? And to what degree, though, did you feel like you had to adapt? Or what degree did you feel like you had to maybe change or find a more specific way to provide value for Coach Woods and staff just because he's a different guy?
Yeah, it was good because I had to prove myself all over again. And that was a good driving force for me to help with getting kids on campus unofficially, officially, bringing them to basketball games, connecting coach to, and even Coach Yasir in Kenya. And hey, these are the guys in the Midwest with these different programs of, hey, let's build relationship with these guys. These guys can help us. Let's bring this kid in. All of those things. And not only that, just being organized. When these kids come here, what are we doing officially and unofficially on these visits? And by no means did I do this all by myself. We have an unbelievable team of managers, an unbelievable group of graduate assistants. Ben Sander, who's been, kind of by my side for the past 7 years, through it all has been really, really helpful with that as well. So it wasn't just me, but I do feel like some of the things that I had done over the previous 4 seasons allowed me to be valuable with what I was able to give the new staff as they kind of got their boots on the ground.
Tyler.
Yeah, Coach. Why is coaching important to you? And what do you want to bring in terms of mentorship on and off the court?
Yeah, I mean, for me, and you guys will probably hear it a lot, but relationships are everything to me. You're going to win games, you're going to lose games, but it's about being here for these kids, not only on the floor, but off the floor in life, having them navigate academics, social life, what it looks like when they're done, just being someone that they can count on forever, not just when they leave here, but as they go through life and they need different things. So that's big to me. And then the other thing is like, I'm super passionate about this and I love it. I've been doing it for a long time, like ever since I can remember as a little kid. I think my first word was ball. So this is just what I feel like I was born to do. And I just love it. It's really not work for me. And to bring that enthusiasm and excitement every day to the guys, I do feel like it's good, positive energy. And again, I'm just really excited.
Tom Brew.
Brian, you mentioned at the beginning about working with this current staff and that obviously Kenya and Yaz been around a long, long time. What is it that you've learned most from them, either directly or just in watching this first year, and how much can they help you going forward in your first go round, sort of at a high level here?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not sitting in the seat if it wasn't for those guys' support. I mean, I've learned so much from those guys, and I've had a previous relationship with Kenyon, having him recruit me 16 years ago to Xavier when he was on staff there with Sean Miller. So I've known him for a really long time. He's a pro's pro. He's polished. He's really, really good at what he does. And, you know, there's countless things that I could say about things that I've learned that I'm going to take with me when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to preparation of scouts, when it comes to delivery of the scout to the players. I couldn't really pinpoint one thing. I mean, they're at Indiana because they're some of the best coaches in America. So just being able to learn from those guys on a daily basis has been amazing for a young guy like myself. So I'm blessed in that area.
Mike Schumann.
Yeah, Brian, when Coach Woodson took the job, there was so much made about, you know, he didn't have college experience. He wasn't a recruiter. I'm guessing nobody spent more time with him on the recruiting front than you. How would you say he kind of grew into that role over the last year?
He's been great, man. There's really not much that he hasn't seen or done or experienced. Now, the recruiting thing was new to him, but he explained to us, like, hey, this isn't my first time recruiting. I've recruited mega stars in the NBA that you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts. So this wasn't entirely new to him. You know, talking to high school kids might be different than what he's used to, and talking to parents and whatnot. But man, I'm hard pressed when we get kids here and he talks with them in a one-on-one setting. He's really, really good. So just being able to set the table for him a little bit and getting the kids here, and then he's the finisher.
Okay, Tyler, Dustin, then Mike, then we've got to get Brian to another meeting. Go ahead, Tyler.
You mentioned your work ethic. Was there somewhere that was instilled in you, or someone that instilled that work ethic in you?
Yeah, that's going to go to my dad and my brother. My dad he was a really good baseball player at Ohio University, and my brother played basketball in college as well, but they are very blue collar. You know, we're not the most talented guys in the world. My family's not. We're not the smartest, but we will work, and we're not scared of it, and we don't run from it. And we know that, you know, if you work really hard and treat people well, it's usually going to work out for you. And that's kind of what I've experienced in my young career. I see my brother in the medical sales doing the same thing, doing very, very well for himself. And then I watched my dad grind for 40 years in his business and do really well. So those are the two guys that I would give immediate credit to of where I got it from.
Dustin.
Brian, I want to go back to what you said about just setting the table for Coach Woodson. I guess, what was that challenge like? You know, like you said, obviously he'd recruited people before. He knew how to talk to people, but he seems to be pretty honest about the fact that NCAA rules were new, like the specifics of how this machine can work and can't work was new to him. But what was that like for you? Just how important was that part to your responsibility of, you know, just making sure everything in the recruiting sort of operation functioned it was supposed to, and making sure that worked for a guy who hadn't, you know, done that before?
Yeah, I just say it just was a little bit more work. You just had to lay it out, X, Y, and Z. Hey, you know, when this guy's coming in, this is the situation behind it. This is kind of who's with them. And just giving him a very clear and concise, okay, this is who they are, where they're coming from, what they've done, the relationship that we've built before you get in here. And, you know, there was really nothing else other than that, just my pre-existing relationships that I've had over the past 4 years that kind of just built, you know, just being consistent with your approach and kind of finding out who's who in the Midwest, and then them being close enough to get here and then get in front of them you know, coach finishes the job. Again, and you know, that's something that Coach Mott always, you know, told me to do is, hey, you know, you get them here, and then you've done your job, and then you let coach finish.
Last question, Mike Pegram.
Hey, Coach, it sounds like you had your hand in a lot of things. Being able to do, is it easier to make the transition from a support to a full-time assistant than it used to be? And what are the new things that you haven't been able to do that you will be able to do now?
You know, it's all about the guy who's leading the program, and does he believe in you? And I think Coach Woodson believes in me. And I think that's the major thing. I do, you know, you look around the country, and I got a lot of good friends in the profession, and they go from ops to assistant at different places. And so I do think certain coaches in certain places that you can do it. I've seen at higher places, hey, you know, somebody leaves, you bring in another guy who's got something in the works on the side. So I've seen a little bit of both. I do think, you know, depending on the head coach, I mean, that's the only one who really matters. So if he feels like you can do the job, then I've seen it a lot across the country where they just bump you up from a support staff to a full-time. And remind me, sorry, I'm blanking on the second part of your question.
Some of the things
okay.
New things.
Yeah, the new thing. So in my previous role, I couldn't do anything on the floor. You know, I was pretty much just, you know, encourager on the sidelines, and, you know, couldn't do a whole lot. Now I'll be able to be on the floor and instruct and present scouting information, and, you know, present the scout from a team that we play the following day. All those things will be new, in addition to getting out from behind the desk. All of my stuff that I was doing from upstairs. And that's what I'm most looking forward to is getting out and seeing you guys at these AU events, and getting to be with families and recruits in their homes, and just building that relationship even more. So those are the two major things that'll change with this new role.
Thanks.